You're going to have to buckle up for this one because I'm telling you, sometimes truth is crazier than fiction. Today, we're going to talk about something that is so absurd. It sounds so ridiculous. You would think it's satire, but sadly, it's not. It's a reality. And it is all the rage in social media, on X and TikTok, and all of the different platforms. And what are we talking about? Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, where armor is forged through mental, spiritual, and physical preparation. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer. I am your host, Carl Wimmer, and I thank you for joining me yet once again for another episode here on First Responder Fitness. I'm so grateful that you're joining me, and I appreciate all of you who watch every week, all of you who give us your feedback, who send in questions, who participate in the show. I truly feel that by watching this episode and this show in general, that you're getting some of the best information that you could possibly get on the internet when it comes to health, fitness, our mental health, our spiritual health, particularly if you are a first responder. We try to bring information that is for everybody, everyone, whether you are a first responder or not. But some of our episodes are tailored specifically for first responders, and that is because that is my area of expertise. I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I have 2 boys who are in the fire service. I have a daughter who is a nutrition and physical fitness kinesiology expert. And so we are merging these together. Not to mention that I am a 3-time world powerlifting champion and have a lifetime of experience in fitness, health, weightlifting, and nutrition. And we bring it all together here for you on First Responder Fitness. Well, we have one heck of an episode for you today. You're going to have to buckle up for this one because I'm telling you, sometimes truth is crazier than fiction. Today, we're going to talk about something that is so absurd. It sounds so ridiculous. You would think it's satire, but sadly, it's not. It's a reality. And it is all the rage in social media, on X and TikTok, and all of the different platforms. And what are we talking about? We're talking about the ridiculous new diet fad called the sugar diet. The sugar diet. Yes, people are actually eating mostly sugar on purpose and calling it a health strategy. TikTok influencers claiming they lost fat and feel amazing eating only fruit, candy, post-workout sugar, and sugar waters. They claim better energy, better digestion, and no more brain fog. The truth, though, this is nothing but garbage, trash, dressed up as wellness. Now, this episode is not about demonizing fruit. In fact, fruit is exceptionally healthy, especially berries and those types of things. I eat berries probably every single day. But this is about calling out extremism. To replace tried and true, scientifically proven, whole nutritional strategies with one macronutrient is the definition of ridiculous. Well, maybe it's not the definition, but it's my definition. It is not the answer. Ever. Ever. Now, why is this so dangerous, especially for first responders? Why is the sugar diet so dangerous? Well, before we get into that, you need to know what the sugar diet consists of. It has multiple different disciples and influencers, and they all have their own little take on exactly how the sugar diet should work. But basically, overall, the sugar diet is eating sugar at the expense of everything else, focusing especially on fruit. Okay, that's fine. But especially focusing on fruit, honey, raw honey, if you're really one of those, muckety mucks, syrup, and other what they call wet sugars. And some advocates say only eat that all day, every day. Other advocates will say you eat that all day, every day, except when it becomes evening time, and then you have some lean cuts of protein or meat. You have others that say you eat that way all the time, but then in the evening you can have some complex carbohydrates. And the problem is that depending on what your favorite influencer says, is how you would end up following the sugar diet. But the one thing we know for sure is that regardless of the influencer, regardless of their take on the sugar diet is absolute pseudoscience trash garbage. And nobody should be following it. Nobody. Hear me again. The sugar diet is absolutely garbage, and it is dangerous, and it is the latest pathetic trend in a series of pathetic trends in the health and nutrition industry, and it's perpetuated because it gets views on social media. If you're following an advocate of the sugar diet, I have the best advice I could ever give you, so listen to me close. Go to their page and unsubscribe. Do not follow that quack, that lunatic anymore. Because all they're doing is getting followers and clicks, and they are taking all of you and they're laughing all the way to the bank as they are getting monetized and selling you a bill of goods. Well, the one thing that we will never do at First Responder Fitness, no matter whether we have 900 subscribers or if we eventually reach 1 million subscribers, we will never sell you a bag of trash. I'll never sell you a bag of chicken crap and call it chicken soup. I will always bring you the tried and true facts and truth. This diet's dangerous for everybody, but it is especially dangerous for those in the first responder community. And let me tell you why. You cannot get around the massive blood sugar swings, the spikes, the crashes, the hunger, and the irritability, this cycle when you're on the sugar diet. If the majority of what you're consuming is sugar, you will have a spike, you will have a crash, you will have hunger, and you will have inevitable irritability. Things that no first responder should be dealing with. I'm an advocate of high protein diets. We need high protein in our diet for multiple reasons, but one of the biggest reasons, especially for those who want to lose weight, is that it satiates you better than any of the other macronutrients out there. High amounts of protein will make you feel fuller for longer, more than anything else. But with the sugar diet, you have no satiety. You're always going to be hungry. No protein, no fat equals a lot of hunger. And so what are you going to do? Have another Mars bar? You can have yourself some more Skittles covered in syrup and honey? What is your alternative to the hunger? And inevitably, hunger leads to mental fog. And what does mental fog cause for first responders? Exceptionally bad reaction times. That is not just bad for the gym. That's bad for your longevity on the job. If your reaction time is down by a fraction of a second, gunfights are won and lost in fractions of seconds. And if you're walking around with the brain fog of the sugar diet, and that's when someone decides they are not letting you take them to jail alive, and the gun comes out and the bullets start flying, do you want your reaction time and your mental acuity to be in this foggy, sugar-induced coma state? The answer is no. The biggest problem for anyone who is into fitness, anyone period, is the lack of the ability to build muscle. I have episodes on protein being the super macro. I have multiple episodes where I discuss protein consumption and how to build muscle and lose fat. And one of the keys to losing fat and gaining muscle is high amounts of protein. At least 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass, at least. So me being a 200-pound man who's very lean right now, I'm probably around 11.5, 12% body fat. I am still trying to get over 200 grams of protein every single day, and I'm in a calorie deficit. If you want to build muscle, you have to have the building blocks to build muscle. That includes protein with their various amino acids. If you are on the sugar diet, you will become catabolic very quick. Now, what's that word? Catabolic. That's an interesting word, right? It's the absolute opposite of anabolic. Anabolism, anabolic means you're building muscle. Your body is it's bathed in all of the required nutrients to build muscle. Catabolism is the exact opposite. And I could not think of a diet that is more catabolic than the sugar diet. Additionally, for first responders, you have these long shifts. You're exposed to tremendous amounts of trauma, which already causes your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous systems to go up and down and in waves, and already hurts your ability to get good sleep and causes sleep deprivation. Sugar and the sugar diet only pours gasoline on that fire. The long shifts, the trauma exposure, and the sleep deprivation. It only fuels the fire of your eventual burnout. This kind of eating might feel good for a couple days, but by week 2, week 3, your performance is going to suffer. Your cravings are going to be through the roof, and you're going to be far worse off than where you started. So why are people drawn to this? There's a lot of reasons, and I can't give you all the reasons, but let me just start with the fact that people are drawn to this diet, and there's more and more people who are seeing it and becoming compelled by the idea. First and foremost, it's simple. People want simple. We live in an instant gratification society. We live in a world where you have a cell phone and you send a text and it buffers for a second, or you have a cell phone, you type in a website and it buffers for a second, we get angry. You're literally sending a signal to space and it's sending it back out there. And if it doesn't happen instantaneously, we get irritated and want to throw the phone across the room. We live with instant gratification. And so we want simple. We are overall, humanity is lazy. We're looking for the easy way out. We're looking for the easy fix to get healthy. We're looking for the easy fix to get jacked. We're looking for the easy fix to lose muscle. As a side to this, I am currently in the biggest body transformation I've ever undertaken. Partially because my birthday's coming up. I'm turning 50 years old in just a few weeks. And I wanted to see what kind of condition I could get myself into at age 50. I thought it was important. My daughter, who I mentioned earlier, who is a fitness expert, a nutritional expert with a degree in kinesiology, she challenged me to have some kind of, abdominals showing by the time I'm 50. Well, for a fat kid like me, someone who comes from a background of powerlifting, having weighed 306 pounds at my heaviest, and feeling most comfortable, I think, at around 240, 245 pounds, getting down to 11 or 10% body fat where the abdominal muscles are going to be showing is not an easy task. It is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I'm going to do an entire episode on this body transformation, and I'm going to just lay it out to you. But when I do, because when I post these pictures, people will say, well, hey, how'd you do that? How'd you transform your body from A to B? How'd you do that at age 50 years old? I'm going to lay it out to you. And I would say that less than 1% of the people who ever read or watch the episode would ever be willing to do what it is costing me to do this. People want easy. They want shredded in 5 weeks. They want from 30% body fat to 10% body fat in 8 weeks, 8 easy steps. It doesn't happen that way. And people tune out when they start hearing that. They're like, well, I'm not going to listen to this guy because this guy says I can get shredded in 6 weeks, but First Responder Fitness says it's going to take me 6 months. I'm going to listen to the 6-week guy. And guess what? You're not going to get shredded. You're not. But it'll be simple. That's the reason people are drawn to the sugar diet, because it's simple. Just eat fruits, just eat sugars, just eat carbs, skip all the other rules, just eat that. It's ridiculous. People are burned out as well. People are burned out by restriction. They have been burned. Everyone you know has tried keto. Everyone you know has tried carnivore. Everybody you know has tried intermittent fasting. I was a strong intermittent fasting advocate. I did it for quite some time. I did it because it fit my personality at the time. I thought, okay, this is easy. I'll just eat every other day. I'll eat whatever I want every other day, and I won't eat on the other days. And I did it for a long time. I did it for a few years, actually. I lost muscle during that process. Yes, I lost weight because I was in a calorie deficit, but I don't do that anymore. And how many people who start the carnivore diet stick with it? How many people who start the keto diet stick with it? Personally, I know one person, my brother. It works for him. He enjoys it. He is a carnivore, keto, probably keto is probably the best way to describe. And it works for him. I have another brother who his A1C was getting a little bit high, and he was advised to watch the carbohydrates and the simple carbs. So he went more keto, and it's working for him. And they've been on it for a while, but they're really the only 1 or 2 people that I know that have ever stuck with it. Matter of fact, it's a long-standing joke with me and another friend who was getting ready to go on a cruise. And they knew that I do a lot of cruising. I go on quite a few cruises. And so my friend says, hey, I'm keto. Does the cruise have keto options? And I said, well, when's your cruise? And they said, oh, it's in 9 months. I said, well, don't worry about it. You won't be keto by then. And they weren't. Okay. People are burned out by fad diets. These fad diets that everybody tries. Oh, you got to try keto. Oh, you got to try carnivore. You got to try paleo. You got to try pescatarian. You got to try this. You got to try that. You got what? People are sick of trying things, and now they're drawn to yet another garbage diet, fad diet, not backed by science, backed by pseudoscientists who are selling you a bag of goods. But it's easy. So they're trying it. let's not forget the fact that sugar gives you a quick dopamine hit. Let's be honest, it tastes fantastic. Everybody loves sugar. Who doesn't want to go down to the 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee? I mean, sign me up. If all I have to do to lose weight and get jacked is drink Slurpees all day, I'm in. Unfortunately, that is not how your body works. But the influencers, they look so fit and happy doing it. Yeah, you know what? Your influencers are either, most of your influencers are one of three people. They're either unicorns genetically. So they're genetic freaks who could get fit and lean on any diet, the Pied Piper mousetrap diet, or they are juiced to the absolute gills. And when I say juice, that means they are injecting more anabolic steroids, testosterone, performance-enhancing drugs than your professional bodybuilders are, and it makes them look good. Yeah, they're working hard on top of that as well, but steroids, or they're editing their photos. The amount of editing that goes on behind the scenes on social media and influencers is unbelievable. None of them look the way they portray on social media. I don't know who that gymnast that everybody follows, the little blonde girl, I can't remember her name, but everybody loves her. I don't know much about her, but I do know for a fact, 100% certain, she edits all of her photos before she puts them up, which kind of makes me wonder, if you became so popular, so famous for your body, yet you edit everything, what do people think when they meet you in person? Because it's almost like catfishing, because they'd be like, wait a second, you don't got cottage cheese on your legs in any of your photos. What is this? It's just a shell game. They're doing it to get more clicks. It's ridiculous. So understand, the sugar diet is perpetuated by influencers who look happy, but most of them are lying to you. So my core problem with this trend is my core problem with all of the fads and trends in the diet culture. It's reactionary. We see people go from one end of the scale to the next. Paul Saladino, who is probably the biggest charlatan in the entire industry, it used to be vegetarian. He pushed vegetarian forever. And then when that wasn't selling and the trend changed, he became anti-seed oil. And when that starts changing, he became meat and fruit, and started doing collabs with the bull testicle guy, the guy that eats raw bull testicles. The guy that's about 5'4". I don't mean to make fun of him. He's got a fantastic body, and he seems like an extremely, extremely nice gentleman. Liver King. And he's had some serious health issues, and so we hope and we pray and hope that everything goes well with him. I have no ill will, but when it comes to these fads, they're all reactionary. From carnivore to fruitarian, keto to high carb, it's this pendulum that swings back and forth because the fitness influencers want to make money. Fitness should be foundational, not faddish, not fattish, faddish, right? It shouldn't be a fad. We know what the body needs. Science and nutrition knows how the body works. We've studied the Krebs cycle. We have studied how the body uses energy, how it consumes energy, and how it expels energy. This is not up for debate. We know how the body works. So why we keep going in these fads is beyond me. Trends are unsustainable. They just are. Ask yourself, have you ever done one of these trends, and are you still doing it? Have you been carnivore? Have you been keto? Have you been paleo? Have you been bull testicle diet? Have you eaten raw liver with syrup? Are you still doing it? No, it's unsustainable because the human body doesn't work that way. The sugar diet, like all of the other diets, all of them, all of the fad diets, ignore the most proven principle in nutrition: balance. Balance is the most proven principle in nutrition. All the fad diets, carnivore, keto, paleo, fruitarian, high carb, intermittent fasting, they all ignore the most proven principle: balance. These fads work like a spotlight. They light up one area and they blind you to everything else that matters. So you're focused only on the spotlight. You see the stage, you see the actor in the spotlight, but you don't see all the players behind the scenes that are making it, that are pulling the strings. The real solution is balanced nutrition that works in real life for real people. High protein. Focus on protein. You need protein for muscle recovery, for satiety when you're in a calorie deficit. I'm in a calorie deficit and have been for a long time right now. And sometimes I just want to eat this desk. If I was on the sugar diet, I would have, it's over. I'm sorry. My pets, my chickens, everything would have been eaten by now. You need protein. You need good fats for hormone and brain function and mood. Okay, we're talking about the good quality fats, your avocados, your fish oils, your omega-3s, your omega-6s, these good quality fats for hormones, for brain function, for sleep. Cut out all fat out of your diet. Cut it all out. And tell me how well you're sleeping in a month. You even need carbs, smart carbs. Yes, fruit could and should be one of them for fuel. Your body prefers to burn carbs. I don't care whether you're in ketosis or not. Your body was meant to use carbs as energy. Science, period. The argument is over. That is it. There is no question. Now, there's people who will say, yeah, but you can go into ketosis. Yes, you can. You can go into ketosis and start burning ketone bodies. That is not your body's preferred method of energy use. Period. That cannot be argued against. You might as well argue that the sky is not blue. You might as well argue that the sun doesn't rise in the east. Now, don't get pedantic on me. I know that the earth revolves around the sun, and I know the sky isn't really blue. Okay, but you know what I'm saying. Hydration, fiber, sleep, micronutrients, it all matters. Balance. You need a balanced diet. If you were to do one thing for your diet, focus heavily on protein. Focus heavily, make sure you're getting enough protein, 1.5 grams per pound of lean body weight, and let the rest fall out where it falls. You'd be doing better than 95% of the standard American diet that is making people unhealthy. So bottom line is focus on protein. You need to build your diet like you build your training. Okay, be consistent, personalized, and flexible. But the most important thing is consistency. If you can't stick with the diet for the rest of your life, then it's inconsistent and it's unsustainable. I eat a high protein diet made out of whole, clean, what the nutritionists call single ingredient foods. The overwhelming majority of my diet is earth-grown single ingredient foods, chicken breasts, okay, and salads, and just there's a lot to it, but single ingredients, wholesome, whole, real food makes up the overwhelming majority of my diet. It is sustainable. I love the food, and it's healthy. I'm not against fruit. Heck, I'm not even really against sugar from time to time. I'm against idiocy disguised as wisdom. So, does sugar actually have a place in a diet? Well, to be fair, I would say yes. Sugar's not technically poison. It's not, and we get so hyperbolic about it. It's not poison. Too much sugar absolutely can lead to type 2 diabetes. Okay, we know that. Obesity leads to type 2 diabetes. Too much sugar usually includes too many calories, which it means you're going to get obese. You're going to store it as fat. You're going to get fatter. The fatter you get, the more type 2 diabetes you're going to have. But some fast carbs like sugars can be helpful as a pre-workout. Maybe during a workout. I know the idea of taking a little snack to the gym is becoming a trend. I follow that trend, but I take a protein bar or beef jerky or, something else, something that's healthier. But sugars can help maybe in the recovery window after intense training. It can help on maybe strategic refeed days when you're depleted. I've had some strategic refeed days because I've been facing tremendous depletion due to my intense calorie deficit and my intense workout routines right now. But I never overload with sugar, intentionally overload with sugar. Sugar does have a small place, but it's very, very small. If you do take in sugar, you should always include protein or fat with it so you have less blood sugar crash later. Never forget, a great diet is a whole diet made of fruit, fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. Cutting out any particular food group should be a red flag for almost all of you when it comes to a diet. There may be a time and a place for sugar, but your entire diet built around sugar is a recipe for disaster. That's just that's just physical laziness dressed up as freedom, this sugar diet. So what are my final thoughts? My final advice to you in reference to the sugar diet. Number one, don't do it. You need to reject the extremes. You need to embrace truth. And the truth is, fitness is a lifelong endeavor. It is not a 3-week shred, fit boy, summer girl, summer boy, fit summer, whatever, hot girl summer. It's not a hot girl, hot guy summer thing. You stay fit year round. You stay on your diet, which isn't a diet. You stay on your nutrition plan year round. You follow good nutritional habits year round. That's the truth. Extreme diets are mentally exhausting. They're socially isolating. Try to be on the sugar diet during Thanksgiving. Good luck. I mean, what are you going to be? The moron in the corner sucking on a popsicle? And it's metabolically harmful. You are not a lab rat. You're a human being with a mission to live as long as you can, as healthy as you can, as strong as you can. Health isn't just a six-pack or a salad. It is about sustainability. So let's embrace sustainability, stability, and consistency. I would encourage you, all of us here at First Responder Fitness would encourage you, be the one person in the room who isn't fooled by every new fitness trend. Be smarter than your friends. Do not be a sheep. Be the one person in the room who isn't fooled by every popular fitness and nutritional trend. Focus on what your body needs. Fuel your mind, fuel your body. If you want energy, eat like someone who's in this for life. You want fat loss, You want to build muscle, eat real food, rest, and do it again. That's it. That's it. This entire idea, I hope we've helped you understand. You need to run away from the nutrition scammers who are just trying to get you on the latest trend so they can cash in on you. I promise we'll never do that to you. If you found this episode helpful, enlightening in any way, I encourage you to subscribe. I encourage you to comment below your comments. What fitness fads have you fallen for? What fitness fads have you tried and found to be unsustainable? Share this with your first responder friends. Share this with all your friends who are into health, nutrition, and share this with your crazy friend who's going down the sugar diet rabbit hole. I'm Carl Wimmer with First Responder Fitness, and once again, I want to remind you to be good to yourself, be good to others, and as always, stay safe.